Welcome back to Sprague Homestead. I'm Nikki, and today we're going to be talking about the must-haves for your goat first aid kit. So this video has been kind of a long time coming. I've had several requests for it, and for various reasons we just hadn't gotten to it. So I did sit down and make the full list. Now, most of this is stuff that we keep on hand ourselves, and when we're going and buying stuff, we try and look for stuff that's multi-species, because of course we have rabbits and the LGDs and the goats, and we even have chickens around here. So we try and keep as much multi-species medication and not keep anything too goat specific. There are some things, of course, that are going to be pretty much just for the goats. But you'll kind of see as we go through the list that most of this can be used for other stuff. And if you've watched our general farm first aid kit video, you'll kind of see some of this stuff again, that it's stuff that we buy for everybody, basically. So I broke this down into several different categories, and we'll kind of go through each one. Now, if you're not planning to breed, you might be not real interested in the mama and baby goat category. I would still watch it. You never know that it might appeal to you, or you might decide to breed goats down the road. So it's definitely stuff to think about that you'll want to have on hand. So the first thing is we'll just go over the overview. So the goat first aid kit basically breaks down to the basics, foot care must-haves, treating a sick goat, wound care, mama goat and new kids, and injectables. And so basically this is just going to kind of cover everything. Certainly there are things that you could probably keep that aren't on this list, but these are the things that we keep around specifically for these different categories. So the first thing we'll talk about is basics. These are all the things that you keep on hand pretty much for everything. Some of it might be for wound care, some of it might be treating a sick goat. Basically, it's stuff that you'll use in a multitude of different categories. Like with a thermometer, you might be checking a baby goat's temperature, you might be checking a sick goat's temperature. It's all stuff that's really kind of universal. So when we're talking about basics, we're talking about things like disposable gloves, thermometers, vet wrap, syringes, and I do recommend that you keep all four sizes: 3cc, 6cc, 10cc, and 20cc. That'll cover pretty much every kind of medication out there. It'll give you a lot of versatility for flushing wounds and that sort of thing. So all four sizes are really important to have. Needles for goats, you're going to run 18 to 22 gauge. I do recommend having all three sizes, because usually you'll get them in 18, 20, and 22. Scissors, good for cutting vet wrap, cutting baling twine that gets stuck on feet. It's good for all kinds of stuff. Real handy to have. Opening packages. Tweezers are good, and your dewormer of choice. Now we use a Safeguard. It's an oral wormer. Pretty easy to use. But whatever you're comfortable with using, it's good to have on hand. Sometimes if you've got a vet that's ailing, a vet will tell you the first thing to do is deworm them. Or just if they're starting to look thrifty, that's a good place to start and eliminate the obvious. So beyond those basics, there are some basics that are nice to have, but you don't necessarily have to. So let's take a look at those. That's going to be stuff like a drench gun, weight tape, headlamp or flashlight. I like a headlamp when I'm cutting feet even. It's really nice to have. Notepad and pen to make notes. And if you're going to be breeding goats, you'll probably want to have a castration bander and bands. This is give you a little more versatility. Not everybody wants to buy a buckling. Sometimes people just want them as pets. And if you're doing any kind of quality breeding, sometimes you're going to get one that's got maybe a defect or just doesn't match up with what you're breeding. This will give you that option to go ahead and castrate them to ensure that they're not out there breeding. Now for foot care must-haves, this is a pretty short list. It's pretty much just hoof trimmers, foot pick, and thrush medication. And what thrush medication is it's basically things that they're made for horses, and it's mostly to treat foot rot. We don't see that a whole lot where we're at because we tend to be very dry, but you do get more cases of foot rot in wetter climates. Like here in Oregon, you'll see it more on the I-5 corridor just because it's harder for the goats to keep their feet dry all the time. So we keep it on hand. Every now and then you'll get one where maybe a foot or toe will curl a little bit, and you'll get some stuff in there. And I like to just put it in if I see anything that looks a little odd. I'd rather give it kind of a treatment than potentially miss a problem. But as far as when you pick your hoof trimmers, A lot of people try and go with the great big stuff that you buy for horses. It doesn't really work in goats very well, but what does is simple garden pruners, believe it or not. They're fairly simple to sharpen, they're fairly inexpensive and easy to come by. You can get them spring-loaded or not. This one had a spring and I lost it the first time I went to use it. I also recommend a hoof pick, which not everybody does. But I like to have this little guy on hand, especially if maybe a toe has gotten a little long, you've got a little curl, or just if it's wet and muddy and dirty out. This lets you kind of scrape everything off and brush all the dirt or whatever out of the foot. Makes it, one, easier to see what you're doing, but it'll keep your hoof trimmers sharp for longer just because they're not fighting through dirt and debris. And it takes just a second. Hoof picks are super cheap. I think mine only cost like $2 or $3. So definitely worth having. Okay, so the next thing we'll talk about is treating a sick goat. So some of the things that you'll want to have on hand is things like activated charcoal. This helps for when they've got into a poisoning type situation. Nutri-Drench, which just kind of replenishes vitamins and minerals. Pepto-Bismol, surprisingly does a lot. Electrolytes, probiotics, Corid, especially if you think you're dealing with coccidia, and baking soda, which is a lifesaver when it comes to bloat. Now, when it comes to baking soda, if you've seen our video on feeding, we actually offer it free choice all the time. We find that it basically keeps the goats from having any kind of digestive issues at all. Keeping them off grain will do a lot for them too, but if you don't want to offer it free choice and you do want to go ahead and feed grain, make sure that you're keeping baking soda on hand. What it does is they can take it and it kind of neutralizes the buildup of too much acids and things in the stomach. At least that's how I've had it explained to me. But they know that they need it, and it will keep them nice and even and keep you from dealing with a lot of bloat. Now, for coccidia, like I said, we recommend Corid. There's a lot of different brands of stuff, and you used to be able to get an awful lot of different kinds of coccidiostats in Oregon in particular. But now most of it is, if you're getting it over the counter, you're pretty much going to be limited to Corid. Now, when you come to vitamins and electrolytes, we've just got some of the basic water-soluble. If you're using that, always make sure that you're offering them not only that electrolyte water, but also regular water, because sometimes they won't drink the electrolyte water. And if you're in a situation where you're trying to rehydrate a sick goat or keep them hydrated, the last thing you want to do is get them going off of water. So the next category we're going to talk about here is wound care. And there's a lot of different stuff you can use for wound care, but personally we use Blue Coat. It's a spray-on, or it even has now a little paint, or not paint, but like pipe cleaner scrubby thing on it now. You can get Blue Coat either way. Vederson wound spray, and they come in a lot of different things. We recommend anything by Vederson. We use all their products from eye wash to eye treatments. The spray on gel or the regular spray, doesn't matter. Anything you get from them is great. Having gauze on hand in case you get some wounds. Iodine, betadine, or chlorhexidine scrub. This is important not only to keep an area clean or to flush out a wound, but it's also good for sanitizing like tweezers or any of that kind of stuff. Blood stop powder, and if you don't want to get actual blood stop powder, you can use cornstarch, and I think arrowroot powder is the other one that you can use. Triple antibiotic ointment, eye washes, and it's a good idea to have a terramycin eye ointment, especially if you get a good poke in the eye. It's just an antibiotic, and it's going to keep you from having any vision problems in your animals. It is kind of pricey for a little tube. It's usually like $20, but it lasts for years. And so we like to have it on hand because you just never know. It seems like someone's always poking something in an eye. All right, so our next category is going to be talking about mama goat and newborn kids. So most of this is going to be for the new kids themselves, but things to have on hand just in case is going to be a bottle with nipples or pop bottle nipples, which I'll show you in a minute, tube feeding equipment, powdered colostrum or kid milk replacer, and or just any multi-species kid replacer is fine, towels, mastitis test strips, bag balm, heat lamp or heating pad. So for some of this kind of stuff, it's pretty self-explanatory. Obviously, it's preparing for a kid that's not feeding. When we're talking about pop bottle nipples, these are the ones that we use, and I don't have the label anymore, so I don't know what they're called, but they stretch over a pop bottle. It's worth having a couple extra. We don't drink a lot of soda anymore, but we try and keep a couple of 20-ounce bottles on hand. Just real handy to have. It's kind of a learning curve to get them snapped on far enough that they don't leak. But we found that kids like these a lot more than the pointier lamb nipples. We did at one point have a baby bottle that we picked up from somewhere, and that works okay. So that's worth having. The bag balm is simply going to be for, you'll start to see times that you'll need it. When mom has been nursing and she's getting ready to wean, sometimes they beat up the bag pretty bad. She might get some cracks and some dryness to her teats, and it's just kind of a salve to help with that. You might also need to use it on occasion if you've got a singleton that's only nursing one side. You'll probably have to milk out the other side, but that bag balm will kind of keep that skin supple and will help keep her from getting an infection. All right, so the last thing we're going to talk about here is going to be injectables. This is stuff like your vitamin B complex, CD&T antitoxin and or tetanus antitoxin, penicillin, duramycin, BOSE, or Banamine. So some of this is used for sick goats. Vitamin B complex in particular will kind of perk them up, get them back to eating. Some of the stuff, as you see on the list, I have it marked as veterinary or vet. This is stuff that you have to go through a licensed vet and get a prescription for or buy it from the vet. Everything else you should be able to buy over the counter. I know California has gotten uber restrictive with a lot of things, but it's my understanding you can still get all of this. Now, when you're buying things like CDT and tetanus, if you're just keeping it on hand for emergency type uses, get the smaller container. They both say on it single use only, meaning that if you buy the great big CDT, when you use it the first time, they tell you it's discard within 24 hours. You are not to hold that in the refrigerator or anything else, which is frustrating because we have just enough goats that buying the big one would be really good for me, because when you first do them, you do an injection and then you booster them in like roughly 30 days. But you can't do that because you have to have 2 different bottles. They won't last 30 days. So if you're keeping it on hand, make sure that you're getting the smaller one. That way you're just not wasting a whole lot. The CDT in particular, you can buy it for goats. Tetanus antitoxin a lot of times is multi-species. So if it's an emergency type deal, it's worth having. Look at it and size the dosage that you need for a cow or a horse or whatever else that you have, and buy that size. That way you're not buying just a goat size. Because the last time I looked at it, it was like 3 cc's for a goat and 5 for a cow or whatever it is. So read your packaging. You'll probably want to keep whatever you need to make sure that you can cover the most of your animals. Okay, so that is it. That is my list of first aid things to have on the homestead for your goats. Like I said, there's probably stuff that I'm missing or stuff that you probably think, I don't need that. It's kind of one of those things with first aid equipment. A lot of times you don't need it until you need it. So these are kind of the bare bones of what we would recommend that you have. If you have other things that you think that I'm missing, and by all means, go ahead and leave them down in the comments. If you have questions about any of it, leave me a comment, shoot me a message, any of that kind of stuff. And that is it for tonight from Sprague Homestead. Happy homesteading, and we'll see you next time.